don't know how well that will show up. Basically I'll just get along the centre of the back. I'll come up at the grip because I want as much wood there as possible just so I can make it comfy. So we'll sort of let the wood do what it wants to do. I've been fairly gentle here because I don't want to, there might not be as much sapwood over this knot as everywhere else, so I think I'll come down either side. I don't know if you can see it. So what we've generated here is a nice oval. So basically if I can carry on these lines all the way down the bow, and then I can take off the corners if I want. But I've not taken off much yet. As I'm always saying, it's sort of successive approximation, and I'm leaving extra sapwood at that knot. But I can see this area and that area, and I can blend the blend the lines of growth rings in. So here I can see a ring sort of doing this at the moment, and then another one here. You sort of join it up. I mean, you don't have to be absolutely perfect, but the lines that get exposed are a guide. Now here where it's torn, let's just sort of let it tear where it wants to. So it wants to flow up over this ridge slightly, because you see we've got a knot this side. You can actually see the rings, they bulge up there and back down. So you need to keep looking at belly and sides. But here I've flattened back and sides. I've flattened the back, but I've done out at the sides. But if I follow that ring round, so we'll make this line disappear by chasing it round. I can't see that much, but if I use the draw knife edge on like this, you can scrape away at the ring. It just gives us a rough idea of where we are. So it's fairly homogeneous there. I'm not being over fussy, but you can see that sapwood's quite a bit thinner there than it is here where I haven't touched it, and we're about even sap and heart. I've got to take a lot more off yet, but I'm just sort of slowly, I'm taking the bark off and I'm getting it down to a fairly even surface is what I'm trying to do. Once it's fairly even, then you can sort of see where you are. I'm trying to let it swell up here so it follows the natural waggle of the grain. Well, it's not a race. I mean, I could rip into it a lot quicker. It's like, this is where I started. I'll take some more off there, but it's angled, it twists here, so I've got to allow for that. And of course it's handy to leave a bit extra at the tip because that's where I'm going to be making the temporary knock. Again, you can see it tearing out here. Just follow where it wants to tear. And I'm looking at the side of it. Now I've got a line showing here now, gives me an idea of what's going on. Right, I've got a nice line showing here. I'm just going over it with a pencil because it probably doesn't show on camera. And I've got a line sort of here. So if I can join this edge up to that edge. Now I've got knots going through here, so I'll tend to leave a bit extra. Let's just shave off me filled knots. See the advantage of a nice sharp draw knife. Just tidy up the sawn edge. There you can see a nice even heart sap there. We're still much too thick, but we're just beginning to get an idea of what's going on. We're thinner sap there, thinner sap here. I need to take some of this off. But I've just worked that bit flat on the back. I haven't taken the edge off. I'll take that edge off now. Just tidy up there. So that's an approximation to following a growth ring over this edge. I haven't done this edge, but I've not been fussy about it. I'm just, you know, working it down to a general idea. So if I take this edge off as well to match, and again try and follow in where the wood wants to tear anyway. Keep looking at the sides as well as the... So if you want to be fussy and have a complete grain growth ring followed back, it's not actually that hard. But on yew, the rings are very thin, often very thin and indistinct, and sometimes they vary heartwood and sapwood. So, and to be honest, it's more cosmetic than anything else. But you can see that's relatively smooth. I don't profess it's an exact growth ring. I've got another video somewhere, and you get this a sort of creamy layer and a whiter, slightly crumblier layer. I call it like chicken breast meat, and that will sort of scrape off. But it's nowhere near like Osage, where on Osage the rings are like alternate cast iron and chalk. So it's a much easier job to follow a growth ring on Osage. But I'm just being a bit fussy here just to let you see the sort of process. But it's easy to think you're following one, but you actually drop down and you're following the next one. But it doesn't matter. There you can see we've reduced the thickness of the bow substantially. But you can get an idea of the process now. Yeah, and I think this has got the makings of a nice bow. I've not really taken the time and trouble working around this, because in fact I might clean out inside the hole, try and see how much sapwood thickness there is here, because it could be that the sapwood's very thin. We'll have an investigate. I'll have a little tidy while I'm here. Tidy up around this. It's one of those things that just the pleasure of doing it We actually had visitors yesterday, and they got a couple of daughters, I don't know, about 6 and 9, something like that. I can't remember how old they were, but I got them in here and let them have a little go with the spoke shave, and had the big one holding the draw knife as well. It's just nice to let kids have a feel of a bit of wood. Especially in this day and age. I mean, some kids have never used a hand tool, but it's all part of, well, it's like drawing and sketching. And I can remember as a nipper at school, or you still get now, people say, I can't draw. Yes, you can draw, you've just never done it enough to get anywhere near good at it. It's like anything, hand-eye coordination, just practice. Yeah, you see the wood trying to just tear out, so yeah, just work with it. Just go where it wants to. You know, if you get a tear out, it's no good trying to glue wood back on or something. You've just got to follow it, let it do its thing. Yeah, a lot thicker this side than that side of the sapwood. I've got tons of meat there. I mean, I must be about an inch thick there. So no need to rush. This knot here, that'll probably just drift out. Tap it with a punch, that'll pop out, and I'll glue a peg in. I suppose I ought to say what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for between 40 and 45 pound at 28 inches. Probably 45, because you can always lose weight, and it will lose weight with time anyway, slightly. So we'll say 45 at 28, just so we can see if I get there. You should always have a target draw weight when you're making a bow. Draw weight and draw length. That's another classic beginner mistake. They just try and make a bow with no idea of what they're actually trying to achieve. Actually, it's a nice stave. As you can see, it's got a little bit of reflex in this. That will be the lower limb, which will be quite nice. That will tend to make it look a little bit stiffer anyway. That's going to be pretty, isn't it? Of course, when I say you've got to let the wood do its thing, it's a matter of degree. I've just been tidying up the belly a tiny bit with my draw knife, coming along this corner, and it suddenly started splitting and getting deeper and deeper. And yeah, that's what I thought, Puss. And the dilemma is always, do you carry on and let the wood split out and then just follow it, or do you stop, reverse the draw knife, take off, you know, the tail end of the split. The cat's telling me off, so she wants to go out. Shut up, Puss, I'm trying to video. And then I've rasped away, and you look at it and you think, oh blimey, I've gone very thin there. But in actual fact, there's quite a good ridge up the belly still, and I've got plenty of sapwood, so I think it'll be fine. It may just be the bow will have to be either a tiny bit narrower or a tiny bit thinner there. We'll see. Anyhow, yeah, we all get problems, we all get mistakes. It's how you deal with them. So if you feel a tear starting, stop quickly and try and remove it, or let it follow nature, follow its course. But it's not always obvious which is the best course of action, which is of course why you move from the draw knife down to more subtle tools as you progress, you know, spoke shave, rasps and so on.